Hello learners, I Dr. Niradhar, faculty member, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this video lesson. Today's topic is to discuss that is on self-made and standardized tools, concept and differences. Friends, this is one of the video lesson of the 6th module of your online course, that is BES 1 to 7 assessment for learning. In 6th week you have to study the 6th module. The title of the module is criteria of a good tool, and in this module you will find 3 video lessons are there. First is self-made and standardized tools, its concept and differences. Second is reliability as a criteria of an effective tool, and the third is validity as a criteria of an effective tool. And today in this lesson we will discuss about the concept of self-made tool, the concept of standardized tool, and the difference between self-made and standardized tool. Friends, let us go forward to know about the learning outcomes. That means after going through this video lesson, what are the different learning outcomes you are supposed to achieve. First of all, after going through the part content, part E content of this video lesson as well as this current video lesson, you will be able to explain the concept of a self-made tool, you will be able to explain the concept of a standardized tool, and you will be able to differentiate between self-made and standardized tool. So here three learning outcomes are there. One is concept about the self-made tool, then concept about the standardized tool, and the third is difference between self-made and standardized tool. So friends, now let us focus upon the concept of a self-made tool. You see, so far as classification of tools are concerned on the basis of its purpose, because earlier we have discussed on the basis of norm of reference. It is of two types, that is norm reference evaluation and criterion reference evaluation, and further on the basis of function, of the tool, it is of 4 types, that is placement evaluation, formative evaluation, then diagnostic evaluation, then summative evaluation. And now in this lesson we will discuss about on the basis of the purpose. The tools are of 2 types, that is self-made tool and standardized tool. Self-made tool is also popularly known as teacher-made tool. As I said, that this tool will be prepared by the teacher himself or herself for the students to whom the teacher is teaching. Okay, so here the use of a self-made tool is very specific in nature. It is related with the specific content, point which is being discussed, which is being taught in a particular class. And further we can say that this type of tool or the self-made tool is prepared for assessing performance of the students in various subjects. Let you are a teacher, you are teaching science or social science or language or mathematics, and if you want to know the progress of the learners, so what you will do? So you have to prepare a tool and you have to administer that tool upon the group of students to whom you are teaching. So that's why specially we use self-made tool for assessing performance of the learners in various subjects which is being taught in the school, and further it is usually prepared by those class teachers who are engaged in teaching the subject to the particular class. So here you see the specific class teacher will prepare the tool, and one of the very important thing so far as self-made tool is concerned, here you see teacher knows the standard of teaching, teacher knows that what content has been covered, teacher knows that what are the different activities, different demonstrations teacher has conducted in the classroom. So that's why the depthness of teaching will be reflected in assessment. So that's why the standard of question that the teacher will prepare, it is based upon the standard of teaching, it is based upon the coverage of the content, it is based upon the media, methods and techniques that are being used by the teacher in the classroom to teach that subject. So that's why This is you can say a type of customized test, because teacher knows about the progress, teacher knows about the teaching standard, at the same time engagement and involvement of the students in the process of teaching and learning. And further we can say self-made tools are meant to limited purpose for the particular groups of students to whom the teacher teaches. As I have already said that self-made tool are prepared for the specific purpose. Specific purpose means that tool is only meant for the group of students to whom the teacher is teaching. So that tool cannot be used upon another group. Okay, so that's our another group of students, another class. So that's why it is very much customized, it is tailor made, and you will find that for the specific purpose these tools teacher prepares. So that's why the scope of this tool is very limited. And further we can say that it may be an unit test, quarterly or half yearly test for assessing performance of the students. So you might have experienced all such things. You are a teacher, so when you are teaching the students, you might be preparing a tool, a test for the unit test, for the quarterly examination, or for the semester end, or for the half yearly test. So that's why here for knowing the performance quarterly, for knowing the performance in an unit, for knowing the performance in a chapter, or at the same time for knowing performance after completion of a semester, you can also prepare a teacher made test, which is called as a self made tool. Let us go forward. And further, now let us focus upon to understand the concept of a standardized tool. Okay. So here you see the term that has used, that is standardized. So standardized means a particular standard, a definite standard will be maintained in preparing the tool. And here we will discuss that what is the standard, what is the norm which is required for preparing a standardized tool. And further we will also discuss about the objectives of preparing a standardized tool, its very purpose, and how we prepare a standardized tool. So first of all, when we prepare a tool by following a set of procedure of test construction and develops norms for its use, then it is called as a standardized tool. You see two things I am just focusing upon. First is it follows a set of procedure of test construction. You see friends, when you prepare a tool, it may be a test, it may be a type of achievement test, or it may be a type of intelligence and other types of test also. So a set of procedures you have to follow. First of all, you have to prepare a blueprint, then according the blueprint you have to write down the items. Items should cover different objective areas, and different types of items also you can include in a test. Then you have to write the items. Then after writing the items, you have to find out the reliability and validity of the items. You have to analyze the items, the difficulty value, to find out the difficulty value and to find out the difficulty index or the discrimination power of the items that you have to establish by carefully administering that test or by doing the item analysis. So that's why here we are not discussing about the process of standardization, rather the entire process of standardization will be followed for preparing a standardized tool, because the scope of a standardized tool is not limited just like a teacher made or a self made tool. A standardized tool can be used in different places by upon different group of population, you can say, but the standard should be same and subject should be same if it is an achievement test. But that is standardized in form that a norm has been developed, its reliability and validity has been established, and the usability and objectivity of the test have also been established. Okay, so that's why keep in your mind that the very concept of standardized tool, that when we prepare a standardized tool, the detailed process and the set of procedure of test construction are followed. And further, this is generally prepared keeping in view the large group. So I was just talking earlier for preparing a self-made tool which is very specific purpose in nature, and we prepare a self-made tool for the specific group of students. That means in a section or in a class to whom as a teacher you are teaching, but for preparing a standardized tool, your target is a large group. Okay, so group may be 100, group may be 1000, and it can be administered, it can be used in different places. Okay, it may be in Delhi, it may be in Chennai, it may be in Ahmedabad, it may be in Guwahati. So any places you can use, but if it is a test of the subject of science, then it should be used upon the science group students, and if the test is for 9th grade students, then it should be used for the 9th grade students. So it is standardized because a entire set of procedures are used for preparing or for developing the tool. And further we can say that a self-made tool can also be a standardized tool, provided the procedures and steps are followed in developing the tool or developing the test. So here you see a self-made tool, you can also say that a self-made tool can also be converted into a standardized tool if you follow a set of procedure for construction of the tool. If you will establish the reliability of a self-made tool, validity of a self-made tool, and if you will establish the norm of a self-made tool, then you can also develop, or you can also convert, you can also transform a self-made tool into a standardized tool. But you have to follow the procedure for constructing for the construction of a tool. And further, to discuss more about the concept of standardized tool, we can say that generally standardized tools are developed by the test specialist or experts in the field. You see, self-made tool is prepared by the teacher, okay, the individual teacher who is teaching the students, and the questions will be upon that group of students, okay, based upon different subject. But here especially the test specialist as well as the expert in the field, so they prepare tool for the standardized tool, because they have knowledge, they have expertise, and they have understanding about that, how to prepare a standardized tool, how to develop reliability of a tool, how to establish validity of a tool, and how to establish norm of the tool. So that's why this is prepared by a test specialist or an expert. But you can also say that a teacher can also develop a standardized tool, providing the teacher should have expertise knowledge in the field of test construction. Teachers should be an expert, and teachers should know all the steps, that how to handle, how to use all the steps for standardizing a tool. Let us go forward to understand more about the concept of standardized tool. Further, we can say that the norm such as age norm, gender norm, percentile norm, habitation norm, etc. are also developed in a standardized tool. So here you see, unless you develop the norm, you cannot say that this is a standardized tool. So what are the norm? Norm means, here you can say that age norm. Age norm means the tool will be used upon what age group students, whether it is for 14th age group students, for 15th age group students, for 16th age group students. So a norm will be developed that this the tool will be used upon a particular age group of students. It may be 14, 15, 16. So that cannot be used upon any other age group of students. Then further, gender. So far as boys are concerned and girls are concerned, male students are concerned, female students are concerned. So whether tool will be used both for girls and boys, or this is only for the boys or only for the girls. So that's why gender norm can also be developed in a standardized tool. Then percentile norm. So percentile norm can also be established, that what will be the average percentage, average percentile, and accordingly, and that will further help you to analyze the scores that you will get after administering the tool. And habitation norm you can also develop. Habitation norm means whether the tool will be used only the students who are studying in the urban areas, in the city areas, or this the tool can be used both at the rural area at the same time at the urban area. So, that is why habitation norm can also be developed. And further, we can say that a test prepared for classes 10th or 12th board examination by Central Board of Secondary Education, that is called as the CBSE, or by any state board can be an example of standardized tool. So, try to understand. You see the test that are being prepared for the 10th board students or for the 12th board students. It may be for the CBSE board or it may be for any board in any state. So, you will find that the test which is prepared for the board students, that is not limited to few students. You will find that the students may be, the number of students may be in thousands, number of students may be in lakhs. When CBSE prepared a test, that is for lakhs of students. So, that is why friends, this is the example that a standardized tool is prepared for different board examination, either at the central level or at the state level. Then further we can say standardized tool is used on a large population, say entire country, entire state or a university. So, try to understand. You will find that a National Testing Agency or CBSE, they prepare a test for the entire country, for the students of the entire country, for the candidates of the entire country. It may be for the academic purpose or it may be for the job purpose. So, here the jurisdiction of the test, the scope of the test is not limited. So, it can cover the entire country, it can cover the entire state. If the state board prepared the test, then it covers the entire state and the number of students in a state is also huge. Then it can also be used for the students of a university. Even if in a university you will find that many affiliated colleges are there and you will find that number of students are usually huge, it may be in thousands. So, we can say that we can use a standardized tool upon large population, maybe upon entire country or state or university. And further we can say the entrance examination conducted by CBSE or National Testing Agency for admitting students in medical or engineering programs or any other professional programs is examples of standardized tool. And I can give you example to you all that you all are pursuing your B.Ed program, and before pursuing this B.Ed program you might have appeared certain entrance examination. Okay. Entrance examination may be conducted by the university or may be conducted by the SCRT or may be conducted by your state, okay, or many a time you will find that, just like if I will give the example of IGNOU as an university conduct B.Ed entrance examination through NTA, National Testing Agency. Earlier IGNOU was independently conducting the test and now the test is conducted by NTA, National Testing Agency. Yes, we are just discussing about entrance examination. So, all the entrance examination, the tests that we prepare for entrance examination are the example of standardized tool. Further, now let us try to discuss that what are the difference between self-made and standardized tool. Already we have discussed the concept of a self-made tool and concept of a standardized tool. So, we will just find out the difference between these two in different parameters. First parameter is purpose. So far as purpose is concerned, we can say that self-made tool, the purpose of self-made tool or the purpose of teacher-made tool is to know the progress of the students in a particular subject, especially at the school stage. So, here it emphasizes self-made tool, the purpose of self-made tool is to know the progress of the students, whereas the purpose of a standardized tool is to admit the students in various courses and also to provide them placement or employment. So, here you see the purpose of a standardized tool is two purpose it serves. First of all, to admit students in various courses, okay, it may be in B.Ed program, it may be in medical, it may be in engineering, it may be in law, it may be in management, in many courses. At the same time, to provide them placement or employment also. So, many a time the employment related examinations or a test which are being conducted, then after successful completion you will find a job. Okay, so that's why for placement purpose, for job purpose, at the same time for taking admission in different academic programs, you can also conduct the standardized tool. And further we will discuss the second difference, that is who prepare the tool. As I have already said that self-made tool is prepared by the teacher himself or herself for the students to whom he or she teaches, whereas standardized tools are prepared by the test specialist or the experts in the field for the large group of students, for the large group of population. So, try to understand, at one side is the teacher and at the other side is the test specialist or the experts. A teacher may be a test specialist or expert, but difference is for self-made tool teacher has to prepare, and for standardized tool test specialist or experts have to prepare, because for standardizing a tool rigorous statistical methods, at the same time rigorous steps will be followed for preparing the standardized tool. And for the, so far as size of group is concerned, I have already said that self-made tool is prepared for small group of students, whereas standardized tool is prepared for the large group of students. So, here in self-made tool, small group means the students who are studying in a particular section in a class. So, the particular teacher who is dealing to that group of students will prepare the test. And for standardized tool, you will find that the tool will be standardized, norm will be developed, reliability and validity will be established, and further that will be applicable for larger group of students. It may be in thousands, it may be in lakhs, and it may be in different places, but in the same grade and same subject. Let us go forward. So far as the parameter of scope is concerned, we can say that the self-made tool or the teacher-made tool, the scope is very limited, because it is useful only for this specific purpose, only for the particular class, whereas the scope, the parameter of scope, so far as standardized tool is concerned, we can say that the use of standardized tool is very vast, because it is not limited to a particular group of students and it is not limited to a particular place. So, this can be used at any place, at any time, and at any group of learners, but standard of learners and subjects should be the same. And further, to understand about the other parameters, the difference between self-made and standardized tool are like this. So far as procedures followed are concerned, the parameter of procedure followed are concerned, just like the rigorous procedure of tool construction are not followed in a teacher-made tool, whereas rigorous test construction methodology and procedure are followed in a standardized tool. And further we can say norms are not developed for developing teacher-made tool, but here for developing a standardized tool, definitely norm you have to develop the norm. Unless you develop the norm, you cannot say that it is a standardized tool. I have already discussed that norm may be a percentile norm, it may be age norm, it may be gender norm, it may be habitation norm. Okay, so particular norm you have to develop for administering that tool. And further, so far as statistical techniques are concerned, in self-made tool no statistical techniques are used to determine the reliability and validity of the self-made tool or the teacher-made tool, because here there is no need of establishing the reliability or the validity. But so far as standardized tool is concerned, rigorous statistical methods are used to determine the reliability and validity of the test. So here statistical methods are used to know the reliability and to know the validity of the test. In our next session, we will discuss about the concept of reliability. In this module, reliability and validity is there, that is under criteria of a good tool. And further, so far as item analysis parameter is concerned, in self-made tool we can say that item analysis and item discrimination are not calculated in a self-made or teacher-made tool, but so far as standardized tool is concerned, item wise analysis is made to know the item difficulty and discrimination before including the item in the final test. In self-made tool, the difficulty value of the item, you can say, it depends upon the standard of teaching of the teacher to the group. It may be easy, average or difficult, because you see, in a self-made tool, teacher prepare the self-made tool for the group of students to whom he or she is teaching. So that's why teacher knows about his or her involvement or students' involvement in the process of teaching and learning. So that's why many a time knowingly teacher may prepare an easy test, an average test or a difficult test. Okay, so that's why it depends upon the standard of teaching, it depends upon the curriculum coverage, it depends upon the nature of teaching. So it may be easy, it may be average standard, or it may be difficult. But so far as standardized tool is concerned, the difficulty value of the item in a standardized tool is generally average in standard. So you should ask me question that in a self-made tool, why the item should be easy, average or difficulty, and in a standardized tool, why the item should be average in standard. Here you see, we prepare a standardized tool keeping in consideration of a large group of students. Okay, so that's why friends, when we talk about a large group of students, so this is the general perception, and it is also a fact that if you will go through the ability of a large group of learners, mostly you will find that their abilities are average in standard. So that's why keeping in consideration of the large group of the learners, your test, your standardized, the items of your standardized tool should be average in standard. It should not be so difficult, and it should not be so easy. It should be always in average standard. And further, so far as subjectivity is concerned, we can say that in a self-made tool, subjectivity in preparing and applying the self-made tool is always there, whereas standardized tools are always objective in nature. Principles it supports of self-made and standardized tools are concerned, we can say that in self-made tool, self-made tool supports the principles and spirits of continuous comprehensive evaluation, specifically the formative assessment. So try to understand formative assessment, already we have discussed in our earlier video lessons. So formative assessment means within the classroom the assessment that you are doing continuously. So that's why continuous comprehensive evaluation by using different tools, by using different techniques. Okay, so that's come under the scope, that's come under the principles of self-made tool. Whereas in standardized tool you will find that summative evaluations, the principle and spirit of summative evaluation are done. That means it is conducted after completion of the entire task. Okay, so that is not continuous, rather that is summative evaluation is terminal in nature. Let us go forward. So far as examples are concerned, I have already discussed when I was discussing about the concept of self-made and standardized tool. We can say that unit test is an example of self-made tool, quarterly examination or quarterly test is also an example of self-made tool, half yearly examination are also example of self-made tool. But so far as standardized tool is concerned, the tool prepared for the board examination may be central or state level, and the test prepared for administration just like placement and recruitment for various vocations or jobs are also examples of standardized tools. So here two examples are there. One is for preparing the board examination question paper or the test, and further for preparing test for the placement and recruitment purpose. So that's why different examples, this is used in different field, in different aspects, so far as self-made tool and standardized tool is concerned. So friends, today just to recapitulate, today we discussed about the concept of a self-made tool, the concept of a standardized tool, and we also discussed about the difference between a self-made tool and a standardized tool, its scope, its objectives, its purpose, its uses, its procedures that it follows. We have differentiated the concept as well as its practices, both for the self-made tool as well as the standardized tool. And the basic difference of a self-made and a standardized tool is, in a standardized tool proper procedures are maintained, and at the same time reliability, validity and a norm are also established in a standardized tool. But in a self-made tool you will not find any norm. And for further queries you can write to me niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can make me a telephone call to 994. You can visit my Facebook account, my YouTube channel, at the same time my Twitter handle. You will find more than 200 beautiful video lessons are there relating to your program, relating to your B.Ed program in assessment for learning, at the same time in other courses also. And I am sure that this video lesson will which is in the Facebook, YouTube and Twitter handle. Thank you.